One of the biggest news stories of the week has to do with George Zimmerman. He's back in the news because he is involved in another so-called domestic violence dispute. We don't know too many details yet, but here's what we do know.
Man, what's going on?
Another 911 call, another accusation against George Zimmerman.
He's in my house breaking on my because I asked him to leave. He has his freaking gun breaking all of my stuff right now.
Zimmerman arrested Monday looking vastly different in this mugshot than the clean-cut 28-year-old booked last year after his bail was revoked in the Trayvon Martin case. This time he faces charges of domestic aggravated assault, domestic battery, and criminal mischief after his current girlfriend told police she and Zimmerman had had an argument and things were turning ugly.
You just broke my glass table, you just broke my sunglasses, and you put your gun in my freaking face.
Samantha Scheib had told police Zimmerman had been packing up his shotgun and an assault rifle when he allegedly cocked the shotgun and pointed it at her. She says he then kicked her out of her home.
Are you kidding me? He didn't push me out of my house and lock me out.
Okay, you're outside now?
Yeah.
Okay, so he had a shotgun and an AR-15?
Yeah, 2 handguns.
Now, this is George Zimmerman's third domestic issue. The first one was back in 2005 with a girlfriend that he had at the time, a fiance, I should say. Then last September, he got into a fight with his estranged wife. He allegedly punched his father-in-law in the face, and he did break his wife's iPad. We have surveillance of that, so that did actually occur. And now this is the latest issue that he's involved in. And some are saying, hey, you know what? There's nothing to be surprised about because society has basically empowered him to do whatever he wants. He shot and killed a 17-year-old. He was acquitted of all charges, and as a result, you know, he probably feels like he can do whatever he wants and get away with it. However, I'm very curious to see what you guys think. Is this something that is empowering him? And do you feel that there is a possibility that this could turn really ugly where he does actually cause some damage to a person? Diane.
Why don't they take his weapons away? But actually, I would like to psychoanalyze the girlfriend. Why are women getting involved with this guy? He's bad news.
I made the same argument, and I know that people are going to think that that's victim blaming, but it's not. I think that we're making a very reasonable statement about the girlfriend.
I want to know what her think. I would like to think she was a mole who got involved with him so she could expose him, but I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't. I really don't understand why she did it either. A really weird wrinkle to the story. She's 27 years old. He had told the 911 dispatcher, he also called 911 after she did, that she was pregnant with their child, but then authorities said that no, that is not true. She's not pregnant. I don't know why he said that or where it's coming from, but I'm just happy that he's not reproducing at the moment. I don't think he's the right person to be doing that. Priscilla.
I mean, I think with, you know, to get back to George Zimmerman, I think this sort of exposes his character, the character that Trayvon Martin confronted in Sanford, Florida on that fatal night when he was shot and killed in February, right? A person who thinks that he can bully people, he can assault people and get away with it and utilize his knowledge of the legal system because he had taken all these classes to appear that he's the reasonable one, right? He's the one that confronted Trayvon Martin. He's the one that stalked Trayvon Martin, and yet he's the one that's being seen as the victim. You see him in this call, or you hear him in this call describing himself as the victim, just as he did after the confrontation after Trayvon Martin. So what we're seeing is this consistent pattern. So it's not as though he's been emboldened. He's been this way the entire time. And we just refuse to believe him, or not we, the jury refused to believe him, right? They gave him the benefit of the doubt. They related more to him than they did to Trayvon Martin, who was stalked, shot, and killed by George Zimmerman.
Jody, how do you see this playing out?
Yeah, I focus less on the viciousness of George Zimmerman. I think there's clear evidence that there are vicious propensities, and they may have realized themselves on the night of his encounter with Trayvon Martin and with lethal consequences. But I prefer to see George Zimmerman as a symptom of a broader problem. Profiling was going on before George Zimmerman's case. The jury saw what he did as reasonable. You have Bernard Goetz, Amadou Diallo, Sean Bell, Kendrick McDade over here in Pasadena. This is a constant problem of fear of black, strapping boys, men. and profiling on that basis that even comes to someone like me. I'm at JW Marriott 2 weeks ago, and I have a guard walk up to me, 2 guards standing back, and ask me, am I there to see someone? I'm saying, I'm in the lobby, why aren't you talking to anyone else? We've been having a problem with transients, he tells me.
Wow.
I said, I look like a transient? He said, don't take it personally, sir. He goes away, they huddle, he comes back. At this point, I'm talking to an attorney from Lathan and Watkins so that they can overhear the conversation. He comes back and says, who are you here to see? If I didn't give him a name, I was there to see Lino Garcia, my roommate from high school, who's the general manager of ESPN Deportes. If I didn't give him Lino's name, I assumed the ejectable status of a trespasser, and they were getting ready to lift me up and put me out. I had on slacks, hard shoes, a button-down shirt, I didn't have a tie, and a jacket. I look like I look now. 2 weeks ago, right downtown LA, so that was Trayvon. You know, this is my afro is my hoodie. I tell people, my afro is my hoodie. You know, I wear my heart on my head, not my sleeve, and I'm happy to be nappy, but this draws a lot of attention. You know, and I have 3 sons in college. What are you walking up on me? What do I look like, a transient vagabond vagrant? But they were getting ready to eject me from the lobby.
So many, a roller coaster of emotion as you said that. First, I'm very upset that you were called a transient or profiled as a transient, but also happy to be nappy. I've never heard that before, and I love it. I think it's great. Yeah, you're right. Profiling has been a huge issue, and I think that it does have to do with socioeconomic status. If you aren't dressed a certain way, society will look down on you. It does have to do with race and the color of your skin. But how do we overcome something like that? Because obviously it's having an impact when it comes to prosecuting people. You have juries that will relate with George Zimmerman as opposed to a 17-year-old who got shot and killed. Diane, what do we do to help change this element of society?
If I knew. Well, I think having a national conversation about it may help. Having juries that are more reflective of our communities would help. Having more control over what goes on in prosecutorial offices would help a lot too. The way extreme sentences are used to force people to take plea bargains, because if you're facing a life sentence for something you didn't do, you'll take 10 years.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you made a really great point about the dialogue. It's really important to actually talk about these situations, and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to talk about race and socioeconomic status and discrimination, but it's far worse to pretend as though these issues don't exist and allow these injustices to occur. So hopefully shows like this and other independent media having similar conversations will change the way we do things within our justice system.